Having a little bit of a hard time riding today, more than normal. I dropped this bike yesterday. I was practicing panic stops in a parking lot, and I did one, and just as I was coming to a complete stop and the front suspension was starting to unload and spring back up, somehow or another I let the bars get turned just a little bit, and that was all it took to make this thing start leaning to one side really bad. And I still had my feet up on the pegs. Of course, I still had my right foot on the brake peg. But I tried to throw my leg down and catch it in time, and I couldn't. So I had to just kind of do what I could to keep the bike from falling on top of me. And I stretched that left leg out a little bit further than what it wanted to go, I guess. And today it's a little bit extra windy, so I'm having to use my legs to grip the tank pretty hard just to stay stable. And it's not hurting, but I can tell that left leg is starting to get wore out already. It's just bad enough to be unpleasant. What's going on up here? I bet you got that truck stuck because it's too damn wet to be doing that. Get her stuck?
Sorry.
That's fine. That was a stupid place to get stuck, and it was a stupid place to try and drive that truck through, knowing how much it's rained in the last week and a half. But ain't no sense getting mad at them people for being in my way with their stuck truck, because sometimes you got to do what you got to do when you got to do it. Obviously they're trying to move, and that kind of stuff usually does happen on some kind of time frame. So they put me out for 30 seconds. Their whole day probably just got messed up trying to get that truck out of the ditch like it was. They're having a much worse time of it than what they just caused me, so there's no sense in me pitching a fit and making it worse on them. And I was talking to a buddy of mine on Facebook last night, and I told him, he rides too. He's got a 959 Panigale, but he's one of these people that thinks the class is a waste of time and money. He says, just get out on the road and take it slow. You'll eventually learn. And I couldn't disagree with that more, because you need to learn how to do things the right way. And of course, his comment last night when I told him what happened and what I was doing when it happened, he says, panic stops, question mark. You don't need to practice that crap. That'll come with time and getting into situations where you have to do it. And my reply to him was a little bit nicer than I'm about to be, but that's the stupidest freaking thing I've ever heard in my life. If you need to do a panic stop and you don't know how to do one, you're going to get yourself killed. Think about this guy in the white truck pulling out in front of me and me going 60 miles an hour, and I have to stop as hard as I can, and I don't know how to do that without locking the front and the rear wheels up. What's going to happen to me? Don't need to practice that stuff. Okay. And not to mention, y'all have seen the video of my close call. I didn't hit the brakes as hard as what I could have at the very maximum, so that was closer than it really had to be. So I thought, you know, maybe once a week it wouldn't be a bad idea to hit the parking lot and at least take a few minutes to do some low speed stuff and some panic stop. You know, it's not going to hurt anything. It's only going to make me better. Making 3 or 4 panic stops in a safe environment where there's no other traffic to hit is a hell of a lot safer than having to slam on the brakes once every 4 months because some idiot pulls out in front of you. And if you practice every now and then, the one time every 3 or 4 months when that idiot pulls out in front of you, you won't panic near as hard over having to stop that quick. And it won't seem like nearly as big a deal, and you'll have the skill to do it correctly. So no, practicing stuff like that is not a waste of time. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Yeah, I'm not going to go every time I ride and hit up a parking lot and wear out my brakes trying to do panic stops, because sometimes when you do that, the suspension shifts a little bit and your front wheel turns just a little bit and you end up dropping your bike. The more you do it, the more often it's going to happen, because sometimes there's just not any way around it. It's just physics. And I didn't buy this thing to be a beater bike that I drop all the time. I bought it to be something I could turn into a fairly nice motorcycle and enjoy riding around on. But going once a week or every 2 weeks and doing 3 or 4 good panic stops and practicing some low speed stuff, if I don't end up doing a lot of low speed stuff on the road, I'm not going to hurt anything. I'm not going to wear anything out. Doing clutch control practice is not going to have any effect whatsoever on the clutch of these motorcycles, because they are, with the exception of a couple of exotics, they're not dry clutches. They're bathed in engine oil the whole time you're using them. You're not putting any wear on these clutches when you ride them. You know, like working the friction zone while you've got the throttle pulled in a little bit. What causes wear and tear on these clutches is when you're not doing the right engine rev matching and that kind of stuff. You know, the abrupt changes in speed is what wears a motorcycle clutch out. You're not going to wear it out doing friction zone work. Like that right there is what causes clutch wear. Or if I downshift right now and don't rev match, you know, blip the throttle, raise the engine speed up a little bit before I let the clutch out, then the transmission from my back wheel is going to be going a lot faster than what the engine is revved at. And when you try to make the clutch to the engine that way, one of them is going to have to speed up really fast. And that's what's going to cause wear on your clutch.